see a lot of you, if you have a stock and it goes up in a couple of weeks, you get real excited and say, "Ooh, this investing thing is working for me, y'all." But that's a very dangerous place to be as well, in my opinion, because you're judging investing based on what's happened to you in the last 2 weeks or in the last month. And investing is not like thorough, healthy investing is it's not a quick hit kind of thing. It's a long-term cultural thing. It's just we acquire assets, we protect those assets, we grow those assets. That's the bigger picture. That's where the real treasure is buried. The short-term stuff is very volatile. Like you don't really know what's going to happen to your portfolio in the short term, but you do know the research shows that long-term, consistent behavioral financial moves will lead to positive benefits 9 times out of 10. So Kahneman and Tversky basically say that prospect theory explains a couple of things. One is what they call loss aversions. Loss aversion says people hate losing more than they love winning. So losing is in his case, it's like, oh, I lost. Oh, hell no. Now, I don't really care as much about winning. I just don't want to lose. And also, there's something basically where they say that there's what they call risk seeking in the domain of losses. So when someone's losing, they take bigger risks to recover, right? So what happens is um, there's a technique in like blackjack and stuff like that where basically they say, okay, if you bet $5 and if you lose, then next time you bet $10. That way, if you win, you get your $5 back, right? And you get even again. And then so if you lose at five, then you bet 10. If you lose at 10, then you bet 20, right? Well, actually, it's more than 20. You got to go more than that, right? Because now you've lost 15. So now you got to go to 30, right? So now I bet 30 because I mean, what's the odds of me losing 3 times in a row, right? So the third time I get all my money back, right? But then what if I lose the third time? Well, that's 30 plus 10 plus 5, that's 45. Now I got to bet 45, is that right? Yeah, there we go. I'm going to bet 45. I lose it. Let's say I lose again. So that's 45 plus, is that right? 45 plus 45, that's 90. Now I got to bet 90. Okay. And then so I guess I guess I just keep doubling the number, right? Is that the math? Yeah, that's the math. What am I doing? What are you doing, boys? So then I'm betting bigger and bigger amounts to make a comeback. And it makes sense actually mathematically because the probability of losing 6, 7 times in a row, 5, 6 times in a row is quite low. But there's always that one time where it does happen and when it goes bad for you, it just really goes bad for you. So ultimately, what they say is that when people lose money, they take bigger risks because they want to get that money back. And I see that happen with a lot of you. A lot of you will say, "I bought the stock at 20, it went down to 14." And you're already thinking about abandoning whatever strategy you had before because you want to get back in the game. You want to get back to 20. And the best thing I feel that I can do is to convince you to kind of let go of that and focus on the strategy. The strategy is what makes you a winner, not so much trying to get right back in the game in the short term because that may not happen, right? And so if you get to the point where you get hit in the mouth and then you throw away your whole plan, then that makes you a more chaotic investor. And chaotic investing doesn't tend to do as well long term as structured, consistent investing, right? The market's not going to be consistent. The market is not going to be consistent. The only thing that can be consistent is you. You have to be consistent. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right.